Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Pattsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/NuclearRevenge, where OP is living the lavish lifestyle using the affair partner's money. Let's begin. This will be a long one, so grab some popcorn. Posted by Reddit user Excellent Usual.
Throwaway to protect identity. All the names are made up and blah blah blah. Let me start with a little background. Me and my wife married 3 years ago and been together for 6 years. When we met, I was already in my 3rd year of college for a special branch of a very productive industry. Something like USA Army. You go in a different country for a few months, do some really dangerous jobs, get paid a lot, come back a few months, and so on. In the beginning, I was going for 6, 8, or even 10 months away in order to get promoted as fast as possible. Now I win around 4 years of medium salary in my country in just 3 months. It is a hard job, but I love it. My wife was very supportive, and I always knew that it's very hard for her to have this kind of lifestyle. I always tried to spoil her and compensate for my time spent away from her with tons of gifts and trips to exotic places. 2 years ago, when I came home after an extended contract, I had to stay almost 2 more months because all flights and borders got shut down during COVID, but got 20% extra salary during this time. She told me she can't take it anymore. She goes crazy alone at home and she has nothing to do. She lost her job during COVID and did not want to work again after that, which I fully support her because I wanted her to be happy and money was not a problem. I was petrified, and at first I believed she wanna break up. Then she continued with, "I love you so much and I want you to give me a baby so I can take care of him and have a little bit of you when you are gone on contracts." After 5 months of hard work with no women in a 100-kilometer range, making a baby was done very fast, and multiple times just to be sure, if you know what I am talking about. I was nervous for the first month because we always feared we may not be able to make a baby. For the first 4 years we did not use any kind of protection except pull-out, and she never got pregnant. But after a few weeks she wakes me up with a long kiss and a smile on her face, then shows me the test result. I was the happiest man alive. Everything changed. I was a man now, I was a father, I was on top of the world. I was going with her on every doctor appointment, and during contract I was asking for echo sounds instead of nudes. The birth had no complications and everything went amazing. 1 month later I go on another contract to make some money that should cover every need for our little baby. Halfway during this contract, I received a text from my wife which shattered my life. The text was short and simple, and I would never forget that 4 words that sent me into deepest depression I had ever had. I want a divorce. I did not understand. I tried to call her to find out what happened, and nothing. After a few days of talking back and forth, she said, "I want a divorce so I can marry with the love of my life." I was already preparing my suitcase because I made a request to my company to send me back as an emergency. When I got home, she and the baby was gone. 2 weeks later I was in court to settle the divorce. During this I found out that she had a lover for well over 4 years, and she plans to marry him as soon as the divorce is done. Now the laws in my country are different, and I knew that my first priority should be a really good lawyer. My wife had a really shitty one, and she decided to speak by herself without the help of the lawyer most of the times. Her whole idea was, I am a woman and he is never home. Well, even if the laws usually favors women, in my country cheating is considered to be a break of contract, wedding contract, and she wanted to take full custody of our children in order for me to pay child support. I was not letting this happen. I speak with my lawyer and an accountant, and it seems that I only had to pay child support from my base salary. My danger bonus is not included in child support because it's for my life risk and mine alone. And because the company pays less taxes on the danger bonuses, I have a lot of them, and my base salary is around 10% of my income. When she found out that she would take almost nothing from child support, and I gave her the option of me taking full custody of the child, with a no-contact rule, and I will never ask her for child support, she agreed in a second. Basically, she agreed to get out of our lives. We even changed the birth certificate of the child as me the father and a blank space for the mother. She gave up any kind of claim on the baby. During the trial, her lover was asked to come as a witness, and the idiot agreed. He is an AliExpress version of Andrew Tate, an alpha man who treats women like shit, and this seems to turns her on, and has a pretty good income. He has a small company, less than half my salary, but he is always home, and it still is a lot for our country. Now during the trial, he said they cheated behind my back for 3 years and that the baby is his, and she tricked me to make her a baby in order not to find out about her cheating. He said all this just to make me feel horrible, I guess, because this is actually kinda illegal. Something like alienate the love and other law terms my lawyer explained to me. He basically said I knew they are married but I decided to ruin the marriage. Now at this point the child situation was already done and an agreement was signed. The judge asked my wife if it was true, and she said yes and ordered a DNA test just to confirm. After the DNA test that confirmed what they said, the judge said she will let me cancel the agreement and settle the situation again with my wife now that the child is not biologically mine. I said no, Your Honor. This child is mine and I want to keep him. The judge was stunned for a minute, but then she said, well, if the agreement is a valid contract and since you don't want to void it, then Mr. L, you are a father and no one can take that child away from you. In my country, it doesn't matter who the biological parent is, it matters who is the parent in the documents. And since he knew he is the father since the beginning and did not come to the hospital to declare it, he automatically canceled all his paternal claims. Sounds stupid, but it makes sense, is in order to protect the idea of a family, and if a man recognizes a fatherless child at the hospital, he should not fear that the biological father will come back, is in order to protect the value of family and encourage people to do a good thing and start a family and things like that. Now the divorce was over, I got my baby and my wife was out of my life. First thing I did was hire 3 babysitters to work 8 hours a day so my child has 24/7 someone to stay with him and I have time to prepare my revenge. I started 2 separate companies with the help of an online assistant from India. You can hire them kinda cheap and they do whatever you need online. This guy made 2 super professional companies, one in industrial credits, give money to businesses for a lower rate than banks, and the second one was a copycat of my ex-company, but this one was in the same city as his. Both were made just for one client, my ex-wife's lover. My assistant started sending tons of ads to my credit company to him. Emails targeted Google, Facebook ads, etc. I was sure that he knows that if he needs money, this is the place he can take a lot with low rates. Next, I made a lot of advertising on the second company, but the company had only the machines and the rented space and only one worker, the cleaning lady. Every time someone called for the company services, they got immediately declined because we are overbooked. My ex's lover, let's call him D, was one of them. Multiple times actually, and he goes mad every time he got rejected because he sees how big the competition is. Now it was the time to give him the bait. Because my company had some problems in the main country. I don't even know in which country this company was registered. They changed the management and wanted to make some fast profit, so the regional manager wanted to sell some of the equipment. When he heard this, he started calling and sending emails to buy them out. The response was something like, we are an international company, we can't sell the brand, but we can sell some equipment. It was illegal for me to sell the company without showing him the accountant's data, which was empty, but the equipment I could sell just within simple contract. He wanted the competition out of his city, he did not need the equipment. So the manager gave him a deal. If you buy our equipment for, let's say, 3 times the price, we can say in the contract that we will not make business again in this city. In just 2 hours I received calls and emails on my first company for a credit for that equipment and blah blah. I knew he was out of money because he spent a lot on his future wedding with my ex-wife. I've sent him a contract. Based on our evaluation, the equipment is not worth that money, so he will need to give us a guarantee, his company. And he is not allowed to sell any equipment or parts of his company until he pays everything back, and if he is behind in payment for 6 months straight, I get all of it. Also in the contract I stated that the credit company will buy that equipment directly. Basically I just give myself my money, and I made sure every single word of the contract was legal and was a deal good enough for him to take it. Later that same day he sent me the signed contract. Now normally he should be able to pay for everything. Even if the clients he hoped he will get from this company leaving are not existent, he still should be able to pay if he gives me around 80% of his company income for the next 5 years. Fast forward a bit. In the day of the wedding, I go to give them an envelope. In my country you give money in envelopes as wedding gift. He starts to laugh at me and tell me to get out cause I am not invited and he doesn't need my money. I smiled and I told him to open it. He looked inside and he was expecting to come to court next week. He laughed and asked what is this, and I told him, see you in court, enjoy your wedding night. Next week he came. I was suing him for child support. As I said, in my country, if you are aware that you have a child and refuse to go to the hospital to recognize him, you are no longer the father. But you are still forced to pay child support, and is actually an increased rate, because you tried to dodge responsibility like running from a car accident scene. He did not want to pay, so he tried to say that he wants the child or co-custody, that he is the biological and blood and blah blah. This made me happy because I wanted to drag the trial as much as possible to drain him of all his money. But I couldn't after the judge saw all his declarations during the divorce trial. She ended the trial really fast and forced him to pay me 40% of his and his company income since the child was born until he will finish college or I get married. And guess who did not manage to pay? And guess who is the new owner of his company? Now I don't work anymore, I just run his company and spend almost all my time with my child. Update: a lot of people asked me about the child and the fact that I am not a bio father. I answered to some comments, but I want to put this answer here so people will stop asking. I do not plan to hide my child that I am not the bio father. As I said in a previous comment, we will talk about this when the time will come in high school maybe or around that age. Until then I will try to be the best friend and paternal figure I can be, and if my child decides to go to the bio father then I will not have any objection. Deceive into bonding. I need this child more than you think. After all that happened, I don't want a relationship anymore and I am very lonely. And being financially free, I have no purpose in life anymore. And about the statistics, yes, statistics do not lie. And I did punish paternity fraud. But I punished the idiot who did it, not the innocent child. I harass him every month if he is one day late on child support, and I have a lawyer on payday just to mess with him and scare him with another court call. I do not give a F about every man and blah blah. I take care of myself and my child, and other people are not my business. If you are so insecure that you think I must punish my child so women will be scared to cheat on you, then maybe you are the problem.
I completely agree with your last statement, OP. The child is innocent. And you are correct. You have punished the right people for putting you through so much. Take good care of your baby boy, OP. Make sure that he grows up to be a man with morals and principles. A man with a shiny iron spine just like you, his father. Live long and prosper, Giga Chad. Good luck. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to Pattsun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.